بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له والصلاة والسلام على حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Dear respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Almighty Allah says in the Holy Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. O you who have faith, obey Allah, obey the Apostle, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ, and those vested with authority amongst you. Tonight, dear brothers and sisters, I want us to explore the verse, and we're going to take the first part. أطيعوا Allah. It's one of those commands that it truly, if you were to ponder on this command and understand it, it has so much depth and impact on each and every one of us if we allow ourselves take the time to understand the capacity of this command and its meaning. أطيعوا Allah, obey. When we say أطيعوا Allah, the obedience that Allah Azza wa Jal is saying here is commanding of what kind of obedience? You have a father and son, a father and mother, a mother and son, a mother and daughter. When a father tells his son, when a mother tells her son, do something, and the child is obedient, the child does what he or she was commanded to do. What do we say? We say, this child is obedient. Meaning, he listened to the command of the parent. The question comes to mind. Why did the child listen to the parent? In the mind of the child, as they're growing up and developing, there is a relationship. It's an innate relationship, built in. You don't teach that. The child listens to the parents as they're growing up. It's a source of authority. They are developed, they raised, and they grow to see that authority in their parents. Now, when they grow up further and further, some of these children sway away from that authority. They find and question that authority. But the origin of that authority the parent has to the child, because in the mind of the child as they're growing up, this entity is guiding me and telling me what's best for me. In the mind of the child, he or she knows that this is the best I know as a source of authority for me. Now, as we grow up as children, we start questioning this authority. Now, the reason we obey is either out of fear, because I want to obey my boss at work. Why? If I don't obey him or her, then my reward for obeying might be removed. When I obey them, do what they want me to do, I get a pay at the end of my day, at the end of my week, at the end of my month. Now, keep in mind, the obedience required from my boss at work, from my parents, is different. My parents have a sort of authority over me different than the authority my boss at work has over me. My boss at work can tell me what to do within a specified parameters defined in the job requirement. She cannot tell me to do things my parents would ask me to do. Make sense? So there is a limited form of requirement and a limited form of response in obedience to my boss versus to my parents. Make sense? All right. Now, this form of obedience requires me to listen and to follow the rules. When I look at my boss at work, I am required to start at 8 a.m. in the morning, for example. And then I'm expected to work throughout the day until I clock out at 5 p.m. If my boss sees me slacking and not fulfilling and not doing work, can he or she ask me and tell me, why aren't you doing the work? It's an expected obligation that I respond and find a reason for it. I can't say, I just don't want to. No, Khayyid, I'm paying you to be here. While I'm paying you, there is a requirement that you need to oblige and show me and give me something back in return. So this obedience becomes a relationship. With work, I'm not going to completely submit to the authority of my boss. No, Khay. You expect me to come here, I'm going to do some work within the job requirement. You hired me to do some coding and programming, I'll program, but if you ask me to go clean up the front desk, that's not my job. I'll tell you that's not my job. Sahih, right? So far we're good with that? وَأَطِيعُ اللَّهِ. طيب. What happens if my boss tells me, listen, I want you and I require you and I command you to do what? To go clean the front desk. But when you push, I want, I require, I command you to clean the front desk, and I see that my boss is asking me, what will I ask? Why? Me questioning my boss to clean the front desk at this point, is it legitimate or not legitimate? Legitimate, right? خليكم معي. This is probably one of the key talks that I'm going to give in this month, building to us. Let me make this statement here. This month is about what? Coming back to Allah Azza wa Jal. This beautiful month is crowned with the night of destiny. This month is crowned with Laylatul Qadr. خليكم معي شوي هيك. Laylatul Qadr, we sit and we ask Allah Azza wa Jal. We ask Him, and if you understand what Laylatul Qadr is, believe me, you would be working every single night for it. Laylatul Qadr is amazing, and I will attempt, inshallah, to explain it to you so you are engaged with it at a higher level. Not just coming here excited to just sit down, not knowing what it is. I need you to be fully immersed in the meaning of the night of destiny, so when you sit down and you pray, there is an immediate meaning to the prayers, to the words you say. When we talk about the obedience, the requirement, at some point with someone like my boss, if he asks me or she asks me to do something outside the scope of my job requirement, I can ask him or her, طيب, why? When I ask the why, there's a reason. I need to know, why am I doing what I'm doing? It's justifiable because I don't know for sure that what he or she is asking me, it's in the best interest of what I need or what I want. It's justified. But my question to you, when it comes to your parents, and when they push you towards a certain direction, is it at that point, that best direction, how much would you question your parents? And is it okay to question them? Well, it depends. At times, depending where are you in your development stage? How old are you? How well experienced? Because the parents are more experienced than you, and they're looking at your best interest too. So here, we have like an engagement between you and your parents, between me and my parents. I remember, may Allah bless his soul, my father, when he would talk to me, he was instructing me and telling me, do this, do that. And at some point, I was about to just like, may God bless his soul, at the age of 18 or 19, I mean, he made me actually write a whole code to do something he wanted. I was going to go crazy. I'm like, and I couldn't. I wanted to be out with the guys doing things, going out, but no. He asked me to do certain things, but he built in me this ulqa, this relationship. Deep inside of me, I could not explode and say, I cannot. Am I being recorded here? Like, I cannot do this, enough. I held it back because deep inside, I knew my father had so much enough experience that he knew there is something in what he's asking me that will benefit me. I tell you, any good that I am today, anything good in me, is because of what he put me through. It's because of him and my mother. When I was about to blow up, but I held myself and I said, they are doing something, they are putting me through something I know deep inside is going to benefit me. At times I had to like convince myself. I mean, keep in mind, my dad like had printed and published like over 30 publications from newspapers, magazines. I had to invent a new way. He handed me a computer with a Word at the time, like there's you know how you have Word? There was a program at that time just printed in English. And he said, Haidar, I taught you enough, make it print in Arabic. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. I ended actually having a contract with a company in California because I figured out a way to do that. And the same company that printed, that actually did the stuff in English, ended adapting, and all it was understanding how language works and how letters work. But instead of going from left to right, it was from right to left. What engaged me and pushed me the extra level to do what? To think outside the box, to be creative, innovative. It's the love I had for my father and mother, because when he looked at me, I knew he wanted the best for me. And I felt that obligation to do what he wanted me to do. It pushed me out of my comfort zone to be so creative. Then I looked, I'm like, that's cool. And when the company, I remember, were talking to me, how did you come about this? I'm like, and I started saying things like I knew what I was. It was only because of my dad and my mother. My dad wanted something. My mother just had that guilty look in her face. If I don't do it, she's not going to be happy. She just sealed the deal with it. But it pushed me to do what I thought it was impossible. It's amazing. Dear brothers and sisters, have you ever in your life accelerated, elevated, ascended that level of submission to someone you love and did the impossible for them just because your love for them and you knowing that they want the best for you? Where you broke all barriers, removed all obstacles, and thought to yourself, I will do the impossible just because I know it is best. It's a feeling, it's a point of pleasure like no other. And especially, the more you know this source knows best what's best for you, the more you submit. See, obedience and submission, it's a relationship. The more this goes, the more you obey, the more your submission level is higher, the more this relationship becomes what? Meaningful. The most who knows what is best for us is whom? Who? Allah Azza wa Jal. Therefore, the higher the level of submission becomes. See, some of us, when you tell them, type, you have to pray, you have to do this, you have to do, the acts of worship. No, Sayyid, I am the type, I cannot do something unless I'm completely convinced of it. You've heard that before, right? Well, have you heard that or not before? No. I'm not going to do I have nothing against. I need to be completely convinced because I need to understand. I need to be a person of full understanding. I cannot just submit. That's not what God wanted me to do. You've seen that. Even you may in your own self, in your own mind, it doesn't make sense to me. See, a believer, pay attention with me here, say with me. A believer thinks at a higher domain. He or she is connected to Allah Azza wa Jal in their minds, in their intellects, in the way they think. So to them, they know Allah Azza wa Jal, huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa hu. He is Allah, al-hayyul qayyum. He is the one that all what within the universe depends on him, and he depends on nothing. So therefore, he is the one who is all-knowing. If he's all that, why do I have to doubt? I submit and I obey. I don't need to know anything else. If I know he told me to do A, I do it blindly and proudly. A lot of us hold back. We have an insecurity. Listen to me carefully. I want to show you the contradiction within the human element when it comes to the issue of obedience. I submit completely to him. I don't need to know why I pray 4 rak'at dhuhr, 2 rak'at subh, 3 rak'at maghrib. I really don't care. And I'm proud of not caring because you know why? I have attached my reasoning to a higher domain when I said obedience is required when I am taking the command from one who is such as God, Allah. He is Allah. I will listen blindly, no problem. If you see me, if you think less of me, it's your problem, not mine. My mind is of a higher domain, higher level. You are lowering yourself. You want to know these small things. Why? Well, I want to know the philosophy of why I need to do this. What? I don't need to know I already know the higher level philosophy, which is obedience to Allah. I'm not obeying you. I'm not obeying her, I'm obeying him. He, the one who gave me what he gave me. He gave me everything. I'll give him back everything without questioning. No, Sayyid. I need to understand. I will never do anything unless But let me ask you. Let me give you and show you how obedient we are all without even knowing. But we are obedient in different ways. You want me to show you this? I'm going to put all of us like this on a plate. How many of us have a phone? Raise your hand. Billah alaykum, raise your hand. How many of you have a phone right now with you? Come on, raise your hand. All of us, right? I challenge and I will stop and forever stop talking. Never get on a pulpit. How many of you, give me one who read the user license for using the iPhone? It is about maybe, I don't know how many pages. But what do we do when we're installing the iPhone? What do you do? Tell me. What do you do in the back? Accept, blindly, move to the next window. Billah, we don't have no submission. على مين عم نضحك? We submit without even knowing what we're submitting to. صح ولا لا? And if you know what you're submitting and agreeing to, you're giving away everything. If you ever look at this user's license for the iPhone, and I hope Apple does not come and sue me, or Google, or Microsoft, or any of them, you're signing away everything. You're accepting whatever they tell you. Have you ever, يعني خلينا هيك شوية مع بعض. I want you to examine the human experience. You as a human being. You did not question anything. You don't even know what's in the contract. Yet you accept it. بس مع Allah, لا خيي, I don't want to. I need to be convinced. I don't know if that's good for me. ما أنت, why do we agree to this? But when it comes to Allah, Wallah, I don't know if doing this or not, if wearing this is okay, if no, I need to be. The thing about Allah, you take this device, pay attention, stay with me here. You take this device, look at me, this device, made by a human being, you pay for it. You pay for it. You pay for it an arm and a leg. And it takes all your data. And it goes and sells it and makes money off of you. And you don't question them. But when it comes to Allah Azza wa Jal, who gave us everything, oh, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do that. No, where is the obedience? La, كمان even worse now, we're developing. Wallah, you know what? I don't like this prayer. I need to come up with a different form to get to know Him. Now we go and do all sorts of things, so we can be in a better. لو Allah Azza wa Jal يعني knew there was a better thing for us to know Him and to pray for Him, would He have kept it away from us? He would have given it to us. Why do we have to go all the way out of our way to not take what God has given us? You know why? The human desire. That's the self of ours. Wallah, I want to approach Allah through doing and reading this and doing this and that. طب ما Allah أعطاك الprayer, pray for Him. Do the prayers the way you want. He told you to. لا, I have to read this person and that person. أعطاك أهل البيت عليهم السلام. He gave us أهل البيت. Put time. You want to put time and effort? You want to find yourself? Read them. Understand them. But we want God to be our way. We don't want to be God's way. We want to mold God the way we want. We're not allowing Him to mold us the way He wants. Let me give you this. You will fail. Whatever you do is short-sighted. You will never get there. I will guarantee you the only way is what's in this Quran and with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Inni tarikun fikum. I'm leaving the two heavily weights. What are they? Kitabullah wa itrati Ahl Bayti. Everything else will cease. He gave us this ability to reason. This reasoning is what will put us in the right path. The power of reasoning is amazing. And when we engage, let me ask you, why do I stand and say Allahu Akbar? I may want to seek the secrets of saying Al-Fatiha, the secrets of bowing to God, the secrets of sujood. And I can guarantee you, you read 10, 20, 30, 100 pages, it will boil down to one word: obedience. The more you tame the self to obey Him, that's the secrets of prayers. The more you tame the self to listen to Him, that's the secrets of fasting. Tame the self. That self that wants to say no, force it, say yes. That's all it is. Once you understand, obedience is equal to what? The higher the obedience, the higher the submission. The higher the submission, the higher the sincerity. The higher that level of being sincere, it means the higher state of love. And when you love, you forget everything. You see nothing but Him. When you love, have you ever fell in love? Have you ever fell in love? The Sayyid is looking, smiling. Have you ever fell in love? Yes. All right. What happens? You know a person when they fall in love. Khalas, they lose everything. They don't. they don't know any, they lose it. They completely become disoriented. Khalas. Why? Their mind is somewhere else with the beloved. Their minds is with her or she with him. Being so everything. Imagine if when you are in love with someone, you'll do anything for them. And even if it hurts you, you find some, a taste of pleasure in it because you love them. Imagine you love the most lovable. Imagine you fall in love with the most powerful. Imagine you fall in love with the all-knowing. Imagine you fall in love with the most beautiful. Imagine you fall in love with Allah Azza wa Jal. Ya Allah. Every dua becomes poetry. Every dua becomes an infatuation, passionate talk with Allah the Almighty. Yeah, you lose sleep. Why? Your heart, your soul is hung where? Right in the heavens where you are looking to see, Ya Allah, not through the rays of the eyes, but your heart is seeking that connectedness, that content. Why? You love Him. The heart of Laylatul Qadr is the falling in love. The heart of the holy month of Shahr Ramadan is falling in love. The heart of everything we do. So the moment the angel is taking your soul, you're not scared. You're looking forward. You say, Ya Allah, I've been waiting for this moment. The moment to move forward. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal for forgiveness and for guidance. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to guide us. In the coming nights, inshallah, we will link these moments of love as how we reach the beloved is through our means, such as the Quran, the Imams, the nights of destiny, and how they will all elevate us to be where we need to be. And the last of our praise, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu ala Rasulillahi Muhammad wa ala ali baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin.